Hello, hello. Welcome back. All right, so let's get the social studies out. You're going to need your social studies notebook for social studies today. Get out your social studies notebook. If you still don't have one of those, either grab a paper and you can just staple it in whenever you do get one. Getting out our social studies notebooks. Oh, goodness. Hey, guys, if you're just coming in, you're going to grab your social studies notebook. If you don't have one already, just grab a sheet of paper, and then when you get your notebook, you can glue it or staple it in. You can glue it or staple it in there once you get one. Make sure you have something to write with. I'm going to use a pencil today just in case I make some errors. I'm going to give everybody a second. Hey, if you'll, for the 4th time today, will you type your name in the chat box so that I can just print this one too? I have to turn in your attendance every morning meeting, reading, writing, social studies. I took your attendance 4 times today, and I have to turn all of them in. So, no fun. So I'll just print this off and turn this in as your attendance. Put your first and last name in there for me. That way I can show that you attended social studies for today. Now, typically you'd just be in the classroom, so I wouldn't have to redo this every single time. Type your name in the chat for me, please.
Miss Ridgway?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we go back to school, and since we have breaks now, will we have breaks like this when we go back to school?
Very good question. I'm not really sure. I'm sure we'll have brain breaks, but it's going to look very different. Whether you're going to stay virtual or come back in person, our schedules are going to change because we'll be in the building that entire time. And on Wednesdays, we can't have half days. We can't just stop learning at 11 in the building while everybody else is at home having theirs. So Wednesdays will become full days, and then your entire schedule will change, honestly. We're going to try to figure that out this week. You guys have 2 more weeks, right? After today, you have 9 more days. So once we get closer, we'll start giving you guys schedules. If you are somebody who is coming back in person or virtual, we'll have lots of conversation about what that looks like, okay? Good question, though.
Okay.
Y'all type your names in the chat if you're just coming on so that I can go print this for attendance. I feel like we lost some people. Now I only have 19. All right. I know people are still typing. Really quickly, before we go ahead and start with our social studies, I did want to remind you that you guys had a module last week for sentence fragments, and we have 11 people in our homeroom that are getting that put in as a 0 today. So, okay, there's nothing we can do about it at this point if you did not do sentence fragments, but you can make sure that you're doing your types of sentence 1, which is in your agenda under ELA. You have all week to complete it. I didn't even start grading it until today. But those of you who did the sentence fragments 1, I'll show you what it looked like. Okay. Yep, see, we only had me and Ms. Sanders have 49 students. We only had 29 people do it. It looked like this. Okay, now it's already closed. So, and if you were somebody who did turn it in, I just finished, while you guys were on break, I just finished grading them. So you should be able to go to grades and see what you made on this. It should have, or it may have went to your inbox. I'm not quite sure where it goes, but I returned it to you graded. Okay. So make sure that this week you're not getting another 0 put in for ELA. Make sure you're doing these types of sentences. Okay. All right, so let's go back to our social studies for today. And you can see on the slide here that you're going to need your social studies notebook. So I think most of you had already grabbed that. And we are going to start our first official social studies unit that I'm very excited about. And we're going to start with talking about the rights and the responsibilities of a citizen. Okay, we are all citizens, and when you turn 18, you are considered a legal adult, and you have rights and responsibilities as an adult of citizen of America, and things that you can and cannot do. Okay, and responsibilities that you have as a citizen of our country. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go through like 1 or 2 slides together talking about the rights and responsibilities of citizens in our country. And then we have some notes that we're going to write together and discuss. So that is why, if you just popped in, you need your social studies notebooks. Okay? Good morning, Miss Standard.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see. Give it a second.
I think Angel has a question.
Oh, yes, Angel. Thank you.
You know when we had to do the for the modules, for types of sentences, examples, how do you like type in it? Because it wouldn't let me type in it.
Okay, let me do this, and then at the end I'll see if I can have you share your screen, and let me check. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Bobby. She had her hand up, I think. Type it in the chat, Bobby. My internet's real spotty, or like me being able to hear you. All right. So Bobby's going to type her question. Okay, so here we go. So on my slide, you guys can see that our question of the week is going to be, what are the responsibilities of a citizen? And we're going to talk about the differences between a right, your right as a citizen and things that you're able to do, versus your responsibility. Okay, so over here, this little girl and guy says, what is a citizen? It says the government in the United States is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Okay, and we are the citizens. We are the people that they're talking about. Okay, so we have different things like elections, where we are able to vote in people that we feel, you know, serve the best interests of ourselves. And we're members of cities, states, and our nation. So we get to vote at a local level in our town. We get to vote at our state level for our governor. And when we get to vote for our nation, which is what the upcoming election is in November, okay, for the presidency. So we have a lot of different things where we get to put our input as the people as to what we want to see in our country. So over here in this purple box, it says that, hold on one second, mine's glitching. Sorry. It says citizens are members of a group, people who legally live in a particular country, people who belong to a community. Okay, your community here would be Covington. People who participate and take responsibility for their communities. And citizens are a group of people who work for the common good. Okay, that makes you a citizen. Okay, and then responsibility, the definition of your responsibility is a duty or an obligation, something you should do. Okay, we know that we have responsibilities at home. Sometimes our parents may ask us to do certain things, and we have responsibilities as citizens of our country too. Okay, and like I was telling you this morning, if I click on this, it usually doesn't work for me. So I'm going to try to open BrainPop again, like this. And we're going to watch the video on citizenship. Okay? Let me share my screen with you guys. Here we go. And again, I'm just typing in citizenship. Uh-oh. There we go. And there it is. All right, guys, we're going to, we see the Constitution right here, so we're going to click this and we're going to watch it together.
This is an outrage. I demand a phone call. A British spy, but I'm an American citizen. Dear Agent Moby, what does it mean to be a citizen? From Dan. You want me to prove my citizenship by answering this letter? All right, mister, I'll play your game. A citizen is a legal member of a community like a city, state, or country. Citizenship guarantees you certain rights, but it comes with some responsibilities too. Every country has citizens and its own definition of citizenship. But since I'm trying to prove my allegiance to my native land, let's focus on what it means to be a citizen of the United States. Every U.S. citizen is a free and equal member of American society and gets to enjoy all the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. That's the document that lays out the plan for our government. It's the supreme law of the land. The basic rights of American citizens are listed in the Constitution's first 10 amendments, also known as the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees all citizens freedom of speech and religion, the right to privacy and trial by jury, and a whole bunch of other important protections. Later amendments to the Constitution added new rights and protections. After the Civil War, the 14th Amendment expanded the definition of citizenship to include anyone born in the United States. It also guarantees all citizens equal protection, so a state can't pass a law that denies you your constitutional rights. Right, that goes for people too. You have to respect the rights of other citizens. It's not just being nice, it's mandatory, which means you have to do it. There are other mandatory responsibilities too, like paying taxes, serving on juries, and basically obeying the law. If you don't follow up on these responsibilities, you could face a punishment, like having to pay a fine or even serving time in jail. Then there are responsibilities that aren't mandatory, but highly encouraged. For one thing, citizens in democratic societies are expected to actively participate in government. The best way to do that is by exercising one of our most important rights, the right to vote. In a democracy, the government's power comes from the people. By keeping informed about important issues, choosing the elected officials to represent them, and even running for office themselves, citizens really control how their government works. What do you mean? Of course you were born here. Weren't you? Right. Well, even if you weren't, you can still become a citizen later in life. The U.S. is known as a melting pot, a mixture of people from many different ethnic backgrounds. Most American citizens either moved here from other countries or descended from people who did. These immigrants have come from all over the world, leaving their home countries to start new lives. To become an American citizen, immigrants have to go through a process called naturalization. To be naturalized, you need to live in the U.S., and you should definitely know how to read and speak English. After you fill out an application form, you get interviewed by an immigration officer, and then you take a citizenship test. Relax. The interview is just to make sure that you're eligible for citizenship, that you're not a dangerous person, and that you respect the Constitution. And the test makes sure you have a basic knowledge of U.S. laws, history, and symbols like the American flag. Once you pass the test, you attend a ceremony where you take an oath of allegiance, and presto, you're officially a naturalized citizen. No, it's not exactly a walk in the park, but it's not supposed to be. Citizenship is a privilege that reflects our democratic values and brings people from many backgrounds together under one national identity. So, have I convinced you that I'm a citizen yet? Good. Now for my phone call. Hello, Burger Shack? I'd like to order a strawberry milkshake. Shaken, not stirred.
All right, guys. So that video kind of wrapped up what we will be talking about for the next 4 weeks. So we're going to break it down into different categories. We're going to do rights and responsibilities of a citizen, and then we'll go into those other parts like the Bill of Rights and the amendments. Okay? So hopefully you have your social studies notebooks out. All right, let me share my other screen with you guys to go back to where we were. Let me know if I'm lagging because it looks to me like I am, but last week you guys said it wasn't that bad. I'll open up the chat if I'm really lagging. It's the same time of day. This morning was great, and then now it's starting to act up again. All right, so let me know in the chat if it's hard for me to hear. Yes, Sean.
My computer's low and I can't find my charger.
Oh no. Well, go turn your camera off and see if you can go find it. Look one more time.
All right.
All right, guys. So we talked about what is a citizen. We are all citizens. And then like I was saying earlier, when you turn 18, you have some responsibilities as a citizen, some things that you must, a duty or an obligation, something that you, some of them are optional and some of them are not optional. And then you have rights too. When you are 18 years old and you become an adult, you have the right to have certain things. And that's what we're going to talk about when we get to those amendments. So I loved this slide because it breaks down the difference between your right as a citizen and your responsibility. Okay, we hear this word a lot, especially from our parents, but what are your rights? Okay, what are you able to do? So a right is a freedom that is protected by law, such as those in the Bill of Rights. And we're going to go one by one through those, okay? But a responsibility is something that you should do. So let's get our social studies notebooks out. And I'm going to spotlight mine so you can see mine and hopefully it looks good for you guys. Okay, so let's flip through. We have our table of contents. Okay, let's put the first thing up here. We did put in our connections. So let's go in and put connecting. And I'm left-handed, so let me finish it up. Connecting themes. That's what we worked on last week. We drew our pictures for our connecting themes. And then up underneath that, we're not going to worry about page numbers and all that stuff because we may get a little off track. So connecting themes. After that, I want you to put rights and responsibilities.
I still can't find it.
All right, well, work with us as long as you can. And then later when you find it, you can watch this on YouTube too. just in case. So we're in our social studies. It's kind of blurry for you guys. Okay, we have connecting themes. That's what we worked on last week. And then this week, we're going to do rights and responsibilities. Phew. Ooh,
Bless you.
thanks. All right, so that's in our table of contents, just so we can keep ourselves organized. I'll give you a little bit longer to copy that. I know the word responsibilities is long. What was that, Sean?
I'm gonna go still try to find it.
Okay. All right, guys. So from here, we labeled last week our student and our teacher page. Okay, then we had, oops, we had this over here where we drew our pictures. All right, I want you to go right behind that on the left side. And then the right side. So look at my pages. They're both blank. Okay? You should have two pages right beside each other that are blank. Okay? So like we talked about last week, this over here is called the student page. Okay, this is where you draw and illustrate what we discuss. And this is called the teacher page. Now, typically, I would give you something over here to cut out and then you would glue it over here, right? So we didn't have to copy all of the notes. But you're not here, so I can't get you the paper. So we're just gonna do like a mini version on this side of your notes. And then we're gonna go over at the end over here and I'm gonna let you draw a picture of what that represents to you, okay? So what I want you to do on this right side over here, put your finger on the right side. I want you to split the page in half. So I want you to draw a line. Did I have it when? Sorry, guys, I had to answer a question. So on this right side, I'm going to leave this left side over here blank for a little bit. And it's really crooked, but so that I have two sections. I have this top section and I have this bottom section, okay? We're going to do rights and responsibilities. So let's label those. At the top, I'm going to write really big, rights. And down here, right up underneath the line, I'm going to write responsibilities. All right, so while you work on that, I'm going to go see Ms. Hammond needs a little bit of help opening up the slides. Ms. Standard, do you mind watching them for just a second?
Not at all.
Okay, you guys, so labeling your rights and then your responsibilities page, and then hang tight for just 1 second.
Does anybody know what something might be that might be your rights? Does anybody know? Raise your hand if you know a right that you have. Angel?
The freedom to talk.
Very good. Freedom of speech. That's right. We're going to be talking about the first 10 amendments, but that is definitely one. And a lot of countries don't have that, but we're very lucky here that you can say your opinion, because you know people have lots of opinions about how they feel about things. And you guys probably have heard it already, right? On the news about how people feel about the people that are running for president. But you have the right to say what you think without fear of your government putting you in jail or harming you or even killing you, right? Very good. Freedom of speech. Destiny, you know another one?
Oh, we have the right to go to school.
Okay, yes. That's not in, that actually is one of the Bills of Rights, because you have a lot of rights that are not even listed in the Constitution, right? Because they can't list every single right. I think that is Amendment number 9. So yes, you have the right to go to school. Very good. Anybody else have another one? You have freedom of speech. You have the right to go to school. Can you guys think of any more? What about, let me see. We can just go over the 10 amendments. Do you guys remember doing the 10 amendments? Have you studied those before? Shake your head if you know what I'm talking about, the Bill of Rights. Shake your head if you have heard of the Bill of Rights. Okay, good. Everybody hold up one finger. I want to see everybody's finger, one finger. This is the First Amendment. The way I remember this is I call it RAPS, RAPPS, because the first, you point to God, freedom of religion, okay? That's what the R stands for, freedom of religion. Everybody do like this.
I'm back.
The A stands for assembly. You have the right to assemble in a group of people and petition, right? That's what the P stands for, point like this. You have the right to petition, okay? You can say, if you don't agree with the things the government is doing, you can do a protest and a petition. Now, you do not have the right to get violent with your protest and petition, right? You don't have the right to go destroy somebody's business or hurt somebody, but you do have the right to peacefully petition or protest. That's what the 2 P, and then the other P is press. Everybody do this like you're writing. You have freedom of press, which is like the newspaper and the news on TV. You have the right, they can publish things in the paper. They don't have to agree with everybody else's opinion. And then the last one, the S, Angel already told us, freedom of speech. So that was just the First Amendment. So there's some of your rights.
Miss Standard, you are awesome. Got him going
Ms.
this
Ridgeway,
morning. First Amendment, love it.
We were just going over a couple of the rights.
Definitely, because yep, we're gonna do amendments next week, and we're gonna go one by one, just like the standard said, and do the movements and talk about every little detail about them, what you can and cannot do. So thanks for that. Miss Hamby was having a hard time; her screen wouldn't share and all this other fun stuff. So, okay, guys. What we're going to do up underneath one is we're going to write the definition, and then we're going to do some examples of some rights at the top, some things that are your right as a citizen. And then down here, we're going to talk about, again, the definition, and then we're going to put some things that are your responsibility as a citizen, okay? And then on this left side over here, this is where you get to be creative, and we're going to draw, I'm going to have you guys draw some pictures of what that means to you. All right, so up underneath rights, okay, I'm going to write it as well, and then if you can also see the screen that I shared, it has the definition of a right to, okay? So that is what we're going to copy. So it says a right is a freedom that is, you're copying this with me, protected.
And it is, she's right, it's right there on the screen that she shared with you, and it's a lot easier to copy it from there.
Yes. Okay, and then I'm going to put a semicolon there, and I'm just going to, instead of writing that last little bit, I'm going to put Bill of Rights. Okay, we have a Bill of Rights that states all of the rights that we have as a citizen. A right is a freedom that is protected by law. And Ms. Standard just shared with you one or two of the amendments that we're going to talk about in the Bill of Rights, and it talks about those rights that you have. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press, the rights to bear arms. Okay, we're going to talk one by one through those next week, and we're going to I'm going to show you all of the rights that you have as a citizen, as an adult, once you get to be 18, and all the things you have the right to do in our country. Now, it is important to note that these rights that we speak of, they are all in the United States. Okay, we have a democracy here, and we have rights that are just for the United States. Other countries do not have the same rights and responsibilities that we do. They do not have the same laws and things like that. All right, so let's go real quick too and jot down, let's scroll to the bottom to where under responsibilities, and it is also on your screen, like Ms. Standard said right here, the little red yellow star. A responsibility is something you should do. Is a responsibility is something that you should do. We're going to talk about what the difference is in a right and a responsibility, okay? Like I was saying this morning, I know a word that we use a lot at my house and maybe at your house too. I'll say, well, that was your responsibility, okay? That's something that I expect my boys to do on their own. There's certain things that I help them with, and there are other things that I expect them to do on their own because they know that that's their responsibility to help out around the house. Just like that, we have responsibilities as citizens. Like they were saying in the video, Moby said, or Tim said, you know, voting. That's not something that you have to do, but it is something that you should do, especially when it comes to major elections and things, and you want to be, you know, you're a citizen of the United States. You want to contribute and vote as to who you choose or who you'd like to see as our president, or your local government here in Covington. You guys, your parents vote locally. They vote for the governor of Georgia. There's a lot of different ways that they can speak up as a citizen, and that's a responsibility. That's not a requirement. You do not have to vote, but it's a responsibility. Okay? Now, on the next few slides, it gives us examples. All right, we're going to skip that for a second. We'll come back to that in a second. All right, so on this slide, 1 second, there it goes. All right, it says, what is the difference between a right and a responsibility? Because they're not the same thing, okay? So over here, we see the right. U.S. citizens have the right to vote starting at age 18. But citizens also have responsibilities when it comes to voting. So up here, under rights, okay, let's put, you can put a star or a dot or a dash, and let's make some bullet points here. Because when you go over here to the left side, that's where you're going to draw your illustration, okay? We have the right to vote. When you turn, and then let's put in parentheses 18. When you are 18 years old, you have the right to vote in the United States. You have to register to vote, which is your responsibility. But you have the right to vote. And then over here it says one responsibility related to voting is to actually cast a vote when the election takes place. So let's go down, since we have that first bullet, let's go down here to responsibilities. And it is your responsibility to cast or go vote. Okay? You have the right to do it. When you're 18, you can sign up and say, I want to vote. I remember I was in college and I just gotten there and they had people on campus saying, hey, come register to vote. You have to, that's your responsibility. You have to go and fill out the form to vote. You can't just show up and say, hey, today's voting day and I want to vote, okay? You have to sign up to vote, and then you have to go to your voting poll and you have to cast your vote. That's your responsibility as a citizen. But also, you're right. You're allowed to vote as long as you're 18 years old. And then I love what this says down here. Okay? Your responsibility as a citizen too is to make sure that you are educated and knowledgeable. So during an election, say we were having an election here in Covington and we were electing our local officials, okay? It is our job as a citizen to look up the people who are running and see what their platform says and see what they are running and what they want to do to make a better change for Covington. And then what I would do is I would read up on both candidates and I would educate myself and make myself an informed voter, learn about them both, and then I would make my decision. Okay, and these two little circles, they say ask questions and research. You never want to just go in and say, well, somebody told me that they like that person, so I'm going to vote for them too. Or you never want to say, oh, well, I have no idea about either one of them, but I like this guy's name, so I'm going to vote for him. You should always educate and inform yourself to say, okay, I really like what this person wants to do to make a better change, so I'm going to vote for that person. Okay, so you're right, is if you're 18 years old, you can vote, but your responsibility is you have to go do it. You have to go and vote. Okay, let's look at some more examples. And we'll go back and watch this brain pop about voting. It's really, really good. All right, let's go look at this one right here. Another right you have as a U.S. citizen is free speech. See her yelling? It's your First Amendment right. So let's put another little bullet right here and say free speech. And that's in our First Amendment. You can say what you like. Okay? But look at the responsibility over here on the right, though. It says with that right. So yeah, you can say what you want. You have the responsibility to be moral and ethical in the things that you say. Okay, there are consequences. You can't go out and just run around and say anything at all that you would like to say. So let's go under responsibilities. And let's make another bulleted note. You must say things morally and ethically. Like Ms. Standard was saying when I was popping back in, tell me if I'm wrong, Ms. Standard, when you were saying with them was that, you know, especially with the press, like well, that's a different amendment, but you also need to make sure that you are not giving misinformation. Okay, you're free to speak to whomever you want about things, but you're not allowed to go around just spreading lies. It has to be morally and ethically correct. Just like you wouldn't want somebody to spread this huge rumor about you that has no truth to it. They just made it up somewhere, and you know that's not anything that has to do with me, or that's not what I said at all. Okay, so you have the responsibility to make sure that when you do speak, that you are being morally correct and you're being ethical and speaking the truth. And it says right here, the right to free speech doesn't mean that you can say anything anywhere and at any time. A lot of people get this confused. They think they can go out and just give their opinions everywhere and scream and yell and use profanity. You can't do that. And I like this example right here. It says, for example, you have the right to say the words fire, but as a responsible citizen, you cannot yell fire, fire in a crowded theater. So for this example, they were saying, we can say the word fire, but think about if you shouted that out at a movie theater. What would be, put in the chat, what do you think, how would people react to that? If you just got up in the movie theater and started yelling, fire, fire, what would people think? People would get annoyed, scared, yes. Okay, they're thinking, they could be thinking about an actual fire. Yeah. Or they could think about somebody that may have a weapon, or there's a fire. Yep, a lot of you are saying there's a fire in the movie. So when we speak, we need to make sure that we're being morally correct. People could start running or ducking. Yep. Okay, that word has more than one meaning. So we have the responsibility to make sure that when we're in crowded places, that we can't just say anything at any time that we want to. We need to be morally and ethically correct. And there are certain consequences when we get to that amendment. When we get to Amendment 1, we're going to talk about what are the consequences if you do something like that and it's not morally correct. All right, we're going to do, let's see. Nope, we're going to go backwards actually, okay? Now, these are the responsibilities of a citizen. So we're going to add these to the bottom down here, and the top's going to be something that we collectively continue to go back and add once we get to those amendments. So let's go down here to the responsibilities of a citizen, and we're going to add these to our bulleted list, okay? First one says it's our responsibility to obey the laws, okay? We have people in place like police officers and things if we do not, but it's our responsibility. We have to take ownership for our own actions, which means obeying the laws. And we know that if we don't obey laws, that there are consequences to that. So we should obey the laws, okay? That's our responsibility to make sure that we are. Just like, you know, if I'm out with my friends and I'm obeying the laws and they're not, I am completing my responsibility as a citizen. So that goes on them if they choose not to obey the laws. The second one is paying taxes. Yes, okay, we have taxes that we pay. Okay, that's our responsibility as citizens of Georgia and of the entire United States. And we have federal taxes and state taxes that we pay. If your parents take you to dinner tonight or they take you out shopping this evening, okay, you have sales tax. There's all kinds of different taxes, and it's our responsibility to pay those things. Number 3. Ooh, Miss Standard, have you ever had to do number 3? Oh, she actually may have hopped off and went to her next class. I don't know. Yeah, I think she gets off at like 10:20. Number 3 says serving on a jury. We're just going to say serving on a jury. Serving on a. I actually got served. We're going to talk about jury duty on Thursday, but jury duty is when you get a letter in the mail and you go to the courtroom and sometimes you're selected, sometimes you're not selected to be on a jury. It's called Of Your Peers. And, if someone commits a crime and they go to the jury, then you can be selected. There's 12 people, and we'll talk, like I said, on Thursday, a bit more in detail about this. And as a citizen, we have the responsibility. When you get the letter in the mail, I can't just say, ugh, I do not want to go to this. Trash. Okay? There are actually fines and jail time connected to this if you choose to refuse to go or you do not appear. Now, that also means that, here at Oak Hill, if I get served and they say you have to go to jury, Dr. Gammons can't say, no, you're not allowed to go. Okay, she has to allow me to go serve on the jury if I am selected. Okay, she has to get me a sub. Or if your parent works somewhere else, their employer has to allow them to go to jury duty. They do not have the right to say, nope, you can't do that. Okay, I want to get a few more rights in here. Let's see. Look at this, guys. Responsibility to respect the rights of others. Where have I heard that?
The flag.
Oak Hill Rec.
Pledge. That's right.
Miss Widgeway,
Yes.
can I use the bathroom?
Yes, we're almost done too. But yeah, go quickly. So yes, the morning news. All right, guys, we're going to pause here. But last thing I do want you to do over here, you see where your line ends on this page? I want you to continue it all the way over to the left side. All the way over. Okay, and this should be, on the left should be blank, because on Thursday, the first thing you're going to come in and do is you're going to draw a picture of one of the rights. So far, we have free speech and the right to vote. And then you're going to draw some pictures for your responsibilities too. So if you drew your line all the way across on this left side, you can put your social studies notebook up for today. And then you guys are about to have a brain break and some independent time. So I'm going to show you where you can find your social studies work for today. Oh, there I am. That way, on your independent time, you can go ahead and you can get started on this, okay? If you want to follow along with me, I'm going to be showing this to you in Canvas. Okay? If you want to follow along with me, you can open up your Canvas page. I'm going to show you where your social studies is. Now, if you have your agenda near you, you see that you're going to work on this all week. It's due on Friday. So it's just like anything else. If you want to get this done today, you're more than welcome to. Okay? I want you to click down on social studies. This is where you're going to get a little bit more information telling you what you need to do. Okay? Whoop. And you see yellow means work on it, work on it. Ooh, red. It's due. It's due. You got to turn it in. Okay? So it says finish reading week 1 on your social studies weekly. Okay? Well, you're probably thinking, there's no links here. How do I click and how do I find it? So I know you guys used social studies weekly last year. Open up your Launchpad and see if you can find it. It is like a black background. It looks like it has an apple and it says studies weekly. Okay, click it. The best part about Studies Weekly is it reads it to you. Okay. You're going to go find this one. It says weekly. I feel like your screen. Let's see. Let me pick somebody. Who raise your hand if you have it up? If you clicked on Studies Weekly. All right, Angel, can you share your, hold on, let me unshare mine. Can you share your screen? Let's see. All right, try to share your screen. I want to see what if you see the same thing as me.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, see they go down to grade 5. There it is on the right. So you're going to click on grade 5. Looks like a little man. This Constitution. All right, scroll up. Because I don't want you to take, why would it show you the test first? All right, scroll up a little bit. All right, do you see where it says citizens' rights and responsibilities? And it says, yep, click right there. Now, you don't want to take the test. Don't click that green button. You want to work through it all the way through, and then you want to take the test last. All right, so this week, scroll down a little bit for me, Angel. This week, you're going to work on reading these. Now, remember those big newspapers that you guys had that you guys used in 4th grade? This is the digital version because I obviously can't give them to you because you're not here. So you're going to go through and you're going to read these, all of these, and they're going to help you on your test. So as you go through, it's going to ask you some questions. Up at the top up there, you can see it looks like a little play button. You can click on there. It will read it for you. You don't even have to read it to yourself. So you're going to go all the way through. You're going to work on this, pace yourself throughout the week. And then on Friday, Angel, go click the back arrow. On Friday, you're going to click that green button that says Take Test. Okay? Don't want to click that, and you don't want to take your test yet until Friday. All right? So you're going to just read through those, and they're also going to be things that we talk about all week, or again on Thursday. I guess you guys don't see me till Thursday. So they're going to be the same type of things that we talk about on Thursday as well. So that is your independent social studies. So we'll talk about it together, and then you're going to go read about it on there as well, and then take the test on Friday. And guess what? Miss Hamby and I, we were like, this is our first social studies. So guess what? What we write in here, if you guys are writing along with me, hopefully, because you're supposed to be, we're going to let you use your notes on Friday to take the test, okay? Because it is a grade, obviously. What is that, Destiny?
Do we have to do it today?
You're going to work on it all week. So yeah, you need to start reading through it. I would do a little bit every day, but you can wait and do it whenever you like, but it's due on Friday. Your choice. Some of you may be procrastinators a little bit. Some of you may be like, I'm going to go ahead and do it today because I don't want to fool with it. And then what we write in our notes in here, we're going to finish on Thursday. You're going to be able to use that stuff to help you take your test on Friday. Okay, guys? So you have a little break, and then all the way up until 11 o'clock, you need to go work on your reading, math, anything in your agenda. So open up your agenda and see what you can go ahead and knock out of your way before lunch so that you can make sure you have everything turned in that you need to get turned in, okay? So work it through your agenda. Yes, Angel.
Can you show me how to do the for the modules, the test of the sentence examples?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. All right, so if you're ready to go get started, you can go ahead. Yes, Angel, let me go to Canvas. Modules. Let me make sure. All right, you are under the practice or under this one?
I'm under it. You know when you had the video of types of sentences examples? Didn't you say you had to write like a sentence with it?
Yeah, let me make sure it says. Let me go down and edit and make sure that it says that you're going. Yeah, it says. Oh, hold on. Online text entry. Hold on 1 second. Let me make sure I don't need to click one of these. Nope. Should let you type if you're doing it online. All right, let's see. All right, Angel, share your screen with me. I want to see what you see. Because I said a text entry, so you should be able to type like you would a discussion post. Oh, let me stop sharing my screen first. Okay, now try it.
Okay.
All right, if y'all are ready, you can go have a brain break and then work on anything that you need to in your agenda until lunch. All right, scroll down. All right, go back up and click submit assignment. There you go. Okay, you see where it says text entry?
Mhm.
All right, click that. Yep, there's your text box. So that's kind of confusing. So it says submit, and you would think that would just mean turn it in. But there you go. You can type in there, and then you can go back up and click submit, and it'll send it off to me. Or right there, it's at the bottom. And then I can comment back once you turned it in. Is that good?
Yes.
Sorry about that. That's very confusing. But all right, guys. Go make sure you go to specials today. We are in lab. There's no computer lab today. Or you can work on your work, or you can go to keyboarding. And then Miss Sanders will see you guys at 1. Okay. All right. Reach out on Canvas if you have any questions. Y'all have a good lunch. Recess break. Bye, Maurice.